My dreams always come true.
Yeah. Jeannie, exactly what did you dream about?
Well, I cannot remember exactly what it was.
Yes, master. For 5 years, America argued about whether one woman had a belly button. The costume was hiding something else entirely. The star of the show was nearly fired in season 2.
I mean, would you make it Monday so I can go back to the office?
Thou canst not.
The actress who saved his job is the reason television got its greatest villain.
Set me free. That means that I am free to please thee, and I am going to please thee very much.
No, please.
The man everyone laughed at every week? He'd done 243 plays first. One of them lost his television wife and his partner of 26 years. 18 days apart. The bottle at the center of it all cost about $6. Five names sat above the title. 4 of them are gone. The 5th one is still here. She's 95 years old, and she still does the pose. Let's find out what really happened.
I'm so frightened. Calm down. Just calm down. Now, calm down.
How can I calm down?
Barbara Eden is Jeannie. Barbara Jean Moorhead was born on August 23, 1931, in Tucson, Arizona. Her parents divorced when she was 3. Her mother took her to San Francisco. The family struggled through the Depression, and her mother sang to the children to get them through it. She never set out to be an actress. She was a singer. It was her mother who redirected her. "You're singing every note perfectly," her mother told her. "But you don't mean a word. You should study acting." So she studied. She worked in a bank. She was a chorus girl at Ciro's nightclub. Her first job in Hollywood was sketch comedy with Johnny Carson. Then came 10 years of guest spots and pictures, including films with Paul Newman and Elvis Presley. She was 34 when America first saw her as Jeannie, a 2,000-year-old Jeannie who came out of a bottle on a beach, called an astronaut her master, and fell in love with him anyway. She almost wasn't cast at all. Sidney Sheldon was testing every beauty contest winner in Hollywood. Tall women, long dark hair. He reportedly wanted a brunette on purpose, so nobody would compare his Jeannie to blonde Samantha over on Bewitched. Audition after audition, none of them worked. Eden read about the search in Variety. She assumed she was completely wrong for it. Then her agent sent her the script and told her the part was already hers. All they wanted was tea with Sheldon at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Her own explanation is simple. I think he'd finally decided that he needed a comedian to play Jeannie. Sheldon had seen her in a 1964 film called The Brass Bottle. She played Tony Randall's girlfriend. Somebody else played the Jeannie. And behind the most revealing costume on American television was a secret the network never announced. The same day the show sold, her doctor told her she was pregnant. She and her husband, the actor Michael Ansara, had been trying for years. She went straight to Sidney Sheldon to get herself fired. I said, "I wanted to let you know quickly so you can replace me." His face fell. He asked her for a couple of days. He never recast her. Instead, the whole production was accelerated. They shot fast, before she started to show. 13 episodes of the first season were filmed while Barbara Eden was pregnant. The concealment escalated week by week. First the waistband went higher. Then she was placed behind counters and furniture. Then came the scarves. "Matthew decided to be a big boy," she said. "So they put chiffon scarves on me. I looked like a walking tent." By the end they were shooting her above the waist and using body doubles. Go back and watch season 1. You can see her stomach in some of the profile shots. One morning she came in and found a bikini hanging in her dressing room. She refused to wear it. The costumer went and told the director, Gene Nelson. He was a friend, and he came up to her dressing room himself. "Barbara, you're never a diva," he said. "Why don't you put on the bathing suit?" She said, "Gene, I am pregnant." Matthew Michael Ansara was born on August 29, 1965. 20 days later, America met Jeannie for the first time. Which brings us to that belly button. And almost everything you've heard about it is wrong. The story everybody tells is that NBC banned it from day one. That isn't what happened. Her pants weren't deliberately high-waisted at first. Her navel peeked out from time to time, and nobody at the network cared. It started with one man. A Hollywood Reporter columnist named Mike Connolly came down to the set. He kept poking a finger at her. "Let me see," he'd say. "Let me see." She told him it was a nickel a peek. Then he wrote about it. Other writers picked it up, and suddenly Standards and Practices was reading her costume line by line. What they imposed was a silk lining, sewn into the pants, on top of the panties and pantyhose she already had on. "It was so silly," she said. "We were all laughing about it. It only turned serious when Laugh-In got involved." The producer, George Schlatter, wanted to premiere Barbara Eden's navel on his show. "NBC had a fit," she said. "Just had a fit." A room full of executives sat around a long oak table. They held a serious meeting about one woman's belly button. She was banned from appearing. Meanwhile, Laugh-In was putting bikini dancers on screen every week. And in an episode that aired on January 13, 1969, Jeannie's own waistband slips below her navel mid-scene.
The bedroom, please.
Oh, no, I'm going to stay right here.
No, you're not going to go?
Nobody reshot it. There was a second rule, too. The bottle couldn't sit in her master's bedroom. After a shot of smoke drifting out from under that bedroom door, the network made it official. The smoke must never spend the night in the bedroom of a man. After Jeannie ended in 1970, she headlined Harper Valley PTA. It was a box office hit, and it became her own series. She did 21 Bob Hope specials for the USO. She came back as Jeannie in both reunion films. And in 1990, Larry Hagman personally invited her onto Dallas. Then came June 25, 2001. Her only child was found dead in his truck. A gas station in Monrovia, California. Matthew was 35. The coroner ruled it an accidental overdose. What matters is where he was. His mother says he'd been sober for nearly 2 years. He was working. He was engaged. The wedding was set for the 1st of September, and she was helping to plan it. "I don't pretend like he never was," she said years later. Because he was a superhuman being.
But of course, in the long run, you couldn't save his life.
Boy, here we go.
Oh, no.
Jeannie could fix anything with a blink. Barbara Eden spent years putting her son into rehab. Then she spent one summer planning his wedding. The one woman in America who could solve anything instantly couldn't solve the only thing that mattered. She held that set together for 5 years. And she was about to save somebody else's career, too.
I would like to do something for you.
No, nothing, thank you.
Oh, please, it will make me so happy.
No, really.
Larry Hagman. As Tony Nelson. Larry Hagman is Major Anthony Nelson. Larry Martin Hagman was born on September 21, 1931, in Fort Worth, Texas. His mother was the Broadway legend Mary Martin. His parents divorced when he was 5, and his grandmother raised him. He spent 5 years in England, in the cast of his mother's South Pacific, then the Air Force, then New York Theater, and 2 years on a daytime soap. He was never precious about how he got there. "A lot of people criticize nepotism," he said. "But hell, it worked for me." He was 33 when he became Tony Nelson, the clean-cut astronaut who found a bottle on a beach. The man who spent 5 years hiding what came out of it. He got the part. And he hated it almost immediately. Behind that wholesome grin was a man at war with his own show. Barbara Eden wrote about it in her memoir, and she didn't soften it. On the first day of shooting the pilot, she wrote, "Larry despised the script. He made no bones about it. His problem was structural. Sheldon had written Major Nelson as straight man to Jeannie.
Look who's here! He's dead!
It was in truth a thankless role," Eden wrote. And Larry would kick against it every step of the way. So he fought. He threw tantrums. He turned up for work one day in a gorilla suit. His shifting moods and off-camera theatrics, Eden wrote, grew wearying. Sheldon's read was that Mary Martin's son resented not being the star of his own series. Hagman told it differently. He said he just wanted the show to be as good as it could be. Whoever was right, it nearly ended him. At some point during the run, the producers stopped arguing with Hagman and started replacing him. They had a name picked out, the actor Darren McGavin. Barbara Eden said no. "My big brain said no," she recalled. "He was the best person for that part. It would have been a huge mistake." And here's the part she remembered. "He thanked me for saving his house," she said. "He said, Thank you for saving my house. This isn't a story told 50 years later. A TV Guide profile ran in July of 1968, while the show was still on the air. It reported that Eden had helped save Hagman's job after he clashed with producers. Think about what that means. If Barbara Eden had shrugged and said fine, there's no J.R. Ewing.
Then you leave me no choice, Marla. I'm going to fight you every step of the way. And I won't be alone.
Something else was happening too, and Hagman wrote about all of it himself. At 34, during the run, he crashed hard. He'd quit amphetamines and tobacco at once. Then in 1967, mid-series, the musician David Crosby gave him LSD. It was such a profound experience in my life, Hagman wrote. It changed my pattern of life and my way of thinking. He later called it possibly the most important thing he'd ever done. Jack Nicholson introduced him to marijuana as an alternative to the drinking. And the drinking, Eden said, was an open secret on that set. But she was careful about the next part. The minute we'd get in front of the camera, he was there, she said. He was awake, and he was doing it. Then JEANNIE ended, and The Wilderness started. 2 sitcoms in the 70s, both canceled fast. Nearly a decade of TV movies and character parts. Then, in 1978, he became J.R. Ewing. 14 seasons. By his own account, he drank 4 to 5 bottles of champagne a day through those years. When Dallas revealed who shot J.R., the episode pulled a record rating. He wouldn't tell the Queen of England, and it was killing him.
You think you've got it all figured out.
Get me the police.
In 1992, the doctors found advanced cirrhosis. He stopped drinking that day. It was too late. In July of 1995, they found a tumor on his liver. That August, he had a 16-hour transplant. 7 weeks in the hospital, he got 17 more years, and he didn't waste them. He kept a photograph of his donor above his mirror. I say a prayer for him every morning, he said.
That's absolutely true. And when you put a black light on it, they're crystals, you know, and they glow kind of purple.
He became a national spokesman for organ donation. Throat cancer came in 2011, then went into remission. A blood disorder followed in July of 2012. Larry Hagman died on November 23, 2012, at a hospital in Dallas. He was 81. The cause was acute myeloid leukemia. He was there playing JR again when it happened. His family had come for Thanksgiving. Linda Gray and Patrick Duffy were at his bedside. He was the Pied Piper of life, Gray said. Eden's statement said more. We've lost not just a great actor, not just a television icon, but an element of pure Americana. Tony Nelson spent 5 years hiding a secret and guarding a spotless record. J.R. Ewing had no secrets, because he had no shame. And the man who played both was drinking through the wholesome years and got sober for the villain ones. There was one other man in that room with him, week after week, making it up as they went. His story starts 2 weeks after he was born.
Are you going to the office dressed like that?
Office? I'm gonna play golf.
On a Monday?
Boy, you are mixed up. It's Sunday morning.
Bill Daly. As Roger Healy. Bill Daly is Major Roger Healy. William Edward Daly was born on August 30th, 1927, in Des Moines, Iowa. 2 weeks later, his father went out to buy a loaf of bread. He never came back. His mother and her family raised him. They moved to Chicago when he was 12. By 16, he was playing upright bass in jazz bands. Then the Army drafted him. He served in Korea with an artillery unit before they moved him to entertainment. He came home, went to theater school, and took a job at the NBC station in Chicago. Announcer, floor manager, eventually staff director, and it was there he did something almost nobody remembers. Daly was putting together a Chicago Awards telecast. He asked a young local comedian to write a routine about press agents. It was called Abe Lincoln versus Madison Avenue, and it helped launch Bob Newhart. Hold on to that, it comes back. He was 38 years old when he became Roger Healy.
Sometimes these hallucinations recur, Captain. In all conscience, I can't qualify you for active duty again until we're certain that you're completely normal.
The astronaut best friend who was always 3 steps behind and 1 bad idea ahead. Sheldon found him in small guest parts. My Mother the Car, The Farmer's Daughter, and, of all shows, Bewitched, his acting debut. Daly built Roger out of Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. He said so himself. And behind the goofiest man on television's most famous magic show was a lifelong obsession with actual magic. Daly loved it his whole life. In 1982 and 1983, he hosted 3 syndicated specials introducing young magicians. They were called Bill Daly's Hocus Pocus Gang. The man from the magic sitcom went and made his own magic show. He did more than act on Jeannie. He wrote scripts for it. And those Hagman and Daly scenes people still quote were largely improvised, which infuriated Sheldon. But Daly was a nightclub comic. He'd barely done scripted television. He wasn't defying the script, he was working the only way he knew how. Then came the fastest second act in this entire cast. 2 years after Jeannie was canceled, he was Howard Borden on the Bob Newhart Show.
Oh, you get it right ahead, and you fall over, see, like this, and then you slip on the roller skates, yikes, and you go...
6 seasons. One more than he spent as Roger Healy. The comedian he wrote that routine for had just made him famous a second time.
That's right. You said moo goo goo goo. Maybe I'm ordering Chinese baby food.
Hi Bob became so ubiquitous it launched what people call television's first drinking game. Daly joked he'd helped turn a lot of students into drunks. I called him our bullpen man, Newhart said. Whenever we had trouble with a script, we'd have Bill make an appearance. He played a psychiatrist on Alf. He tried twice to lead his own series, and both were canceled. In a whole career he had 37 credits. In 1987, he was named director of the New Mexico Film Commission. He moved to Santa Fe and stayed. He was also the only male lead in both Jeannie reunion films. Bill Daly died on September 4, 2018, in Santa Fe. He was 91. Natural causes. His son said the best line anybody said about anyone on this show. He loved every sunset, he loved every meal. He just decided to be happy about everything. Eden said it her way. Our favorite zany astronaut has passed. Billy kept us all on our toes. His father walked out for bread when he was 2 weeks old. He spent 40 years playing the friend who's always right there. And he outlived everyone on this show but one. He also spent 5 years reacting to magic that wasn't there. So how did they actually do it?
I don't think pleased is the word. You see, he's feeling very low.
I know why. He loves to do everything himself. He never wants me to help him.
Well, I think you've overhelped him.
The bottle and the magic. Because none of it was real, and almost none of it was expensive. Start with the bottle. It wasn't built for the show. It was a Jim Beam whiskey decanter, the 1964 Christmas edition, smoked green glass. About $6 in a liquor store. Gene Nelson, the first director, spotted it in a shop window and knew. The art department hand-painted it black and gold to look antique. That was deliberate. Season 1 was shot in black and white, and black and gold read beautifully on a gray screen. When the show switched to color, they repainted the bottles pink and purple. About 12 bottles were used across the whole series. Some were stunt bottles, packed with heat and chemicals to make the smoke. Those ones sometimes shattered.
Let him look in there. It's all right.
And the inside of the bottle? A full soundstage set. Velvet, brocade, glass jewels. The only way in or out was an 8-foot ladder, which is how Barbara Eden once got trapped in it. The crew broke for lunch and left her there. I couldn't get out by myself, she said. You don't have ladders to get in and out of bottles. Now the magic. The blink was a stop trick, the oldest one there is. Lock the camera. Eden stands perfectly still. The crew changes the set around her, then walks out. Roll again.
Perhaps, but I will not let it happen to you.
The smoke in Season 1 was dry ice, pushed around by fans. Plain gray. From Season 2 they blew that same dry ice across colored lights. Lavender, green, royal blue. Floating scenes used wires. And in Season 2, Episode 22, you can see them. The wires and the rig are right there on screen. Go and look. The self-folding laundry was on puppet wire, worked from a catwalk above the set. And then there's the gesture itself. Gene Nelson told Eden to cross her arms and blink. She thought it was missing something, so she added the nod herself. The most imitated gesture in 1960s television was an actress's ad-lib. All of it happened in front of one man, every single week, and he could never prove a thing.
exactly what I've been looking for the living room. You know, that little place over in the... Oh, wherever did you find it?
Hayden Rourke is Dr. Alfred Bellows. Except that wasn't his name. He was born William Henry Rourke on October 23, 1910, in Brooklyn, New York. His mother was the stage and screen actress Margaret Hayden Rourke. His grandfather was a theatrical producer, so when he needed a professional name, he took his mother's maiden name. He put it in front of his father's. The name everybody knows him by is really his mother's. He was president of the Dramatic Society at his Brooklyn high school, then the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. He made his Broadway debut in 1932. When the war came, he enlisted in the Army. He made his film debut, uncredited, in a 1943 musical called This Is the Army. The star of that film was Ronald Reagan. He was already a serious actor before television existed. He was 54 years old when he became Dr. Alfred Bellows, the NASA psychiatrist who watched something impossible happen every single week and could never once prove it. Now here are the numbers. When Hayden Rourke died, his family released a statement about his career. 6 decades of work, 243 plays, 53 films, 243 plays. He'd done The Philadelphia Story, The Country Wife, I Love Lucy, Perry Mason. And apart from one short-lived sitcom, Dr. Bellows was the only regular television role of his life. But behind the most humiliated man on that show was the person holding the whole thing together.
General Peterson, could you come right over? It's Major Nelson again. He thinks the calendar is stopped. Yes, General.
Barbara Eden called him a prince, a good friend to everybody, she said, the one who kept the cast's spirits up. And she added something specific. He did it, she said, often in difficult circumstances. Think about what you just heard in the last 2 segments. Those were the difficult circumstances. The man being made a fool of on camera every week was the reason that set functioned off camera. And think about what the role actually asked of him. Bellows is the only character on that show who is right. He sees it. He's just never believed. He had a life outside it too, and it lasted longer than the show by a factor of 5. From 1953, Rourke lived with the television director Justice Addis. Addis directed The Twilight Zone, The Wild Wild West, Lost in Space, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. They lived in Studio City with a house full of dogs, and according to Eden's memoir, they regularly had the JEANNIE cast over for parties. 26 years together. Then came the autumn of 1979. On October 8th, Emmeline Henry died, the woman who had played Mrs. Bellows for 4 seasons, his television wife. 18 days later, on October 26th, Justice Addis died too. 18 days, 1 October. He lost both of them. Nobody tells this part of the story. It doesn't turn up in the retrospectives or the anniversary pieces, but the dates are right there, and you can check them. Both of them were buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City, which is where Rourke would be laid to rest 8 years later. In the early 80s, he went back to the theater. 50 years after he started there, that's where he finished. A run of live stage work back where it began. Then in 1985, at 74, he put the Dr. Bellows uniform on one last time for the reunion film. The last thing Hayden Rourke ever filmed was the character that made him famous. He died on August 19, 1987, at his home in Toluca Lake, California. He was 76. The cause was multiple myeloma. 243 plays, 53 films, 6 decades of work. And the world remembers him as the one man who saw the impossible every week and could never prove a thing. His television wife went first, and almost nobody knows her name.
Do you know your trouble, Major Nelson?
What's that, sir?
You're overconscientious.
Me?
But it's not going to go unrewarded.
Emmeline Henry is Amanda Bellows. She was born Emmeline Frances Veronica Henry on November 1st, 1928 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And she never wanted to act. She wanted to sing. By her teens, she was performing on Philadelphia radio. She got to Hollywood in the early 50s and landed in the chorus of musicals. She toured in Top Banana and appeared in the film version. Then the producers told her something that redirected her entire life. Her comedy was better than her voice. She came to Hollywood to sing. She got quietly reassigned. She was 38 years old when she became Amanda Bellows, the Colonel's wife who spent 4 seasons one step behind the truth.
Major Hilly, what was that crash?
Oh, the sonic boom, sir. Terrible problem.
Oh, why are we taking you in here? I want her out of here, out of my life.
But she'd already been on the show, almost a year earlier, as somebody else entirely. On January 22nd, 1966, Season 1, Episode 18. The episode was called, Is There an Extra Genie in the House? Emmeline Henry was in it, playing a character named Mert, and Mert was a magician's assistant. On a show about magic, the woman who could never see the magic first turned up as a magician's assistant. Sidney Sheldon noticed her. He remembered her. 11 months later, he brought her back as a completely different woman, and this time, she screen tested for it. His verdict was short. A good actress, he said, and very easy to work with. She made 33 appearances as Amanda Bellows. Then there's this, and it's the least glamorous quote in the whole video. Somebody asked her about being permanently cast as a housewife. Most actors bristle at that question. She said it was an image that had brought her a steady job in 2 series. That's it. No complaint. She played poker and golf, she went sailing, and she kept a boat down at Laguna Beach. And while she was playing Mrs. Bellows, she was also in Rosemary's Baby. After Jeannie, she did Love, American Style. She did the miniseries Backstairs at the White House. Her last performance aired on September 19, 1979, an episode of 8 is Enough. She'd been diagnosed with a brain tumor earlier that year. It moved fast. Emmeline Henry died on October 8, 1979, in Palm Springs, California. She was 50 years old. 21 days after her final performance went out on television. Hayden Rourke made it to 76, Larry Hagman to 81, Bill Daly to 91. Emmeline Henry was the first of them to go, and she was 50. And she is the one nobody talks about. There was one more person on that set with a story, and he wasn't in the credits every week. He was married to the star.
Oh, Major Nelson.
Oh, hello, Mrs.
Hello. Oh, I've been looking for you everywhere. Now, boys, I must talk to both of you immediately. I've got some marvelous news for you.
Michael Ansara is the Blue Djinn. He was born on April 15, 1922, in a village in what was then Syria under French rule. His family emigrated when he was 2. He originally wanted to be a doctor. He took acting classes to get over being shy. He made his name as Cochise on Broken Arrow, then the Klingon warrior Kang across 3 Star Trek series, over 200 credits. He met Barbara Eden because the 20th Century Fox publicity department set them up on a date. Her publicist said she was becoming a star and needed a proper Hollywood boyfriend. She was seeing a working-class man named Tony at the time. They married in 1958. Now remember Jeannie's origin story. She was sealed in that bottle for 2,000 years for one reason. She refused to marry the Blue Djinn. And the Blue Djinn was played by the man Barbara Eden had actually married. He appeared on the show 3 times. He also directed episodes of it.
I shall take pleasure in seeing that you die slowly.
All right, Jeannie. Now.
Here's the part nobody mentions. Her career exploded on Jeannie at exactly the moment his was drying up. In a rare interview in 1979, he said typecasting had made work almost impossible to find. They divorced in 1974. He retired from acting in 2001. That was the year his son died. He never spoke about it publicly. Michael Ansara died on July 31, 2013, at his home in Calabasas, California. He was 91. Complications of Alzheimer's disease. He's buried next to Matthew.
You better stop fooling around and get over the face. They're going crazy.
Please do not harm him. I will go with you.
And then there's the man who built all of it. Sidney Sheldon had already won an Academy Award for screenwriting before he ever touched television. He created The Patty Duke Show first. Then Screen Gems asked him for another comedy.
He called me and said, I just had a meeting with a network and they're looking for a romantic comedy, and it's exactly like...
He was so eager on the pitch that he didn't write an outline. He dictated a whole script. Which brings us to the thing everybody gets wrong about this show. You've heard that Jeannie was a copy of Bewitched. It wasn't. Sheldon finished that first draft in August of 1964. Bewitched didn't premiere until a month later. The script was already sitting there. Bewitched just proved the idea worked, and NBC greenlit Jeannie fast. Now the ending. Late in season 4, with renewal still up in the air, Sheldon got a call from NBC's head of programming. His name was Mort Werner, and he had a condition. No marriage, no 5th season. That would destroy the show, Mort, Sheldon told him. The fun of Jeannie is the tension between Jeannie and her master. Once you marry them, that's gone. You have nothing to work with. He lost. He wrote the wedding. They filmed it at Cape Kennedy with Air Force brass in attendance, and every single one of them hated it. Hagman thought the show couldn't work married. Bill Daly said it changed the premise completely. Eden put it plainly. She's not a human, she said. She's an entity. You're mixing a human with an entity. It wouldn't happen. Here's the detail that stings. Eden and Sheldon agreed completely, and neither of them ever said so to the other. It was his show, she explained, and I don't think it would have made any difference if I did. Sheldon's verdict in his memoir was blunt. Mort Werner had taken a hit show and destroyed it. But let's be honest, that's what the people who made it believe. The show had never once been in the Nielsen Top 20. It cracked the Top 30 twice in 5 years. It never won an Emmy. The marriage is what they blame. The numbers say it was one reason among several. Sheldon walked out of television after that. He became one of the best-selling novelists on the planet. He died in 2007 at 89.
Do you, Anthony Nelson, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Of the 5 names above the title, 4 are gone. Emmeline Henry in 1979 at 50. Hayden Rourke in 1987 at 76. Larry Hagman in 2012 at 81. Bill Daly in 2018 at 91. There's no curse here. 3 of them made it past 75. What there is one woman still standing. And here's how the story actually ends. NBC canceled this show for underperforming. Within 12 months, the reruns were beating the network schedule that dropped it. By the autumn of 1971, more people were watching I Dream of Jeannie than ever watched it on NBC. That $6 whiskey bottle now sits behind glass at the Smithsonian. Barbara Eden donated it herself. It was handed to her on the last day of shooting by the wardrobe woman, Joey Hutchinson. Then, on June 27, 2026, Barbara Eden walked into a charity event in Hollywood. 56 years after the last episode aired. She stopped outside for the crowd. She folded her arms, and she did the pose. Sometimes one is forced to slow down, she said, but I'll do what I do until I can't. So tell me in the comments, which one hit you hardest? And here's the real question. Every week for 5 years, Dr. Bellows saw something impossible and could never prove it.
What's that? Mosquito bite. Very painful, sir. The whole room is full of them. Hold still. Hold still, sir. One right there.
Neither could anybody watching. Nobody knew Barbara Eden was pregnant. Nobody knew Larry Hagman was one decision from being fired. Nobody knew what Hayden Rourke lost in 18 days. What else were we not seeing? One more thing before you go. The night before Jeannie premiered, another show went on the air, September 17, 1965, one day earlier on a rival network. It was a comedy set in a Nazi prison camp, and it should never have worked. It ran for 6 seasons. The actors playing the Germans were Jewish men who'd fled Hitler. One of the prisoners was a real survivor of Auschwitz, and the star of that show was murdered in a hotel room in 1978. Nobody was ever convicted. That's Hogan's Heroes, 61 years later, and it's next. Subscribe if you want the rest of that story.